Feeling like you're stuck in a job that just drains your soul? You're not alone. What if I told you that there was a way to get even? Well, not in a bad way. Like get even, meaning get balanced. Stick around. Let's talk about this. We've all had those jobs where the work just seems endless, the boss seems totally clueless, and no one is on your side. Yeah, we all understand, and I understand that frustration really, really intensely because I just went through it myself. One of the things that this whole channel's about, and one of the things that I'm bringing out is the real me. Like the stuff that happened to me is the stuff that I'm bringing out here to help you. When I was at my lowest, at one point, I walked outside and I really felt like I was totally enveloped by this job that I had. And maybe you feel like that too. Maybe sometimes you take a step outside and you just feel like you can't shake it. One of the things that I want is to not let that happen to you. I want people to be happy, whether you're at your job or whether you're at home. But today I'm focusing on your job because we spend so much time there because we need to live and we need money to survive. It's just a fact of life, but it doesn't have to fucking wreck you, man. Like, I'm tired of that, and that's why I'm making these videos. One of the first things I want to talk about is setting boundaries. And by setting boundaries, I'm talking about boundaries between work life and personal life, work hours and personal hours. And this goes whether you work in a 9 to 5 type job, a manual labor type job, a CEO director level job. It doesn't matter how stressful the environment is or non stressful the environment is. It's vital for each one of us to maintain that balance of work hours and personal hours. So that's part one. And I probably did my best when I finally understood that just a few years ago, that I told myself, wait a minute, I'm on vacation. That doesn't mean that they get to call just because I'm a manager. That's not an excuse. There's other people who could take care of the problem. They just didn't want to. So set boundaries and set those boundaries very, very tightly for yourself and don't let them go. That's something that is yours. Set those boundaries. The second tip is prioritizing self-care. And I know everybody talks about this because it's true. One of the things that I found that worked best for me was I loved going to the gym. I used to exercise every day. I was in the gym constantly. And as I got a little bit older, I tried to keep that intensity up and I just wasn't able to. And that's just a me thing. Maybe it's a you thing that you can. And if you can, do it. Prioritizing self-care is also about like finding a hobby, not just exercise. Like I love exercise, I love walking, I walk every day. But I'm talking about find a hobby. Find something that might be creative. Is there something that you'd love to express that you've never even tried before? Well, what's stopping you from trying? Don't let fear get in the way of trying to be creative. You know, I don't know how to play piano, but if it's one thing that I will do, I will sit down at my computer that's right over there and I'll write some of the best ambient music that I feel I can express using a keyboard. So, no, I don't know how to play piano, but I sure know how to use the internet and look up what a chord shape looks like. So stupid. So, the third thing is finding those internal wins. One of the things I can promise you, and one of the things that I dealt with was you're not going to get the compliment that you deserve, and you're certainly not going to get the one that you want. So give it to yourself, man. Like, it doesn't even matter how big or small it is. Like, find some kind of internal win. The last one, and it's probably one of the most important to me, is finding support. And support, whether it's from a coworker, whether it's from a friend who doesn't work with you, whether it's from a mentor, find someone who will support you. Here's the deal though, that supporter needs to be someone who's an ally. So let's talk real quick about the difference between an ally and a friend or the normal coworker. So an ally is someone who will tell you when you did something wrong. So if I'm in a meeting and I step out of line and later on I'm complaining to my buddy down the hall about how bad it was that they treated me, that friend needs to look at me and say, well, yeah, they treated you that way because this is what you said, and that's why they reacted this way. That's an ally. A normal coworker might just be like, yeah, those son of bitches. Like, that's not the person that we want. That's not the support that I'm getting you to look for. So steer away from that person who's gonna feed into that ego shit. Like, I'm talking about, find the friend who's gonna say, well, yeah, they treated you that way because, well, you kind of said this and it wasn't that appropriate. That's the person that you want. That's the person I want. And that's the people that I looked for at work. I had friends at work who would literally kick me under the table. And if you're watching this, you know who you are. And you could even leave a comment if you wanted to. And even if you did it under an anonymous thing. So find those people. That's who you want. So, what about transitioning to better opportunities? Well, there's a whole bunch of things that you can do in that respect. The first thing I would say is maybe take the energy, first of all, and channel that into something like a side hustle. Like, is there something at your job that you do that's unique, that's creative or expressive that you can do on the outside that doesn't interfere or cause any kind of legal issues with your job? Is there something you could put on, like, I don't know, Fiverr or Craigslist if you do work like for lawn care? Find things like that that maybe you could transition to. That's kind of what I had hoped to do. Um, didn't really work out that way because, as I've said before, the universe decided, show me. So, well, here I am trying to show you. So, if you do make that decision that you want to transition from one job to the next, the only advice I could give you is make sure that your resume is updated. Get out there and network. Is the job that you have something that you can go talk to others about and maybe find other jobs or other positions? There's so much virtual stuff going on these days that you pretty much have an open canvas if you really, really think about it. Allow the universe to work through you. Like, don't fight things sometimes. I fought this making a channel for a long time. I wanted things to be just right. I had to wait till I had my set. I wanted it to be perfect, and it's not perfect right now. But, I just jumped in and did it. So maybe that's something you could do too. Even if you're stuck now, use that motivation. That's the kind of thing that getting even's about. Using your motivation that's internal. Because after all, this is about you. Yes, you work for a company that pays you for your services, but I'm tired of this idea that they fucking own us. They don't, and they never did. So the sooner we understand that, the better. If you've been at a job that's driven you crazy, let me know down in the comments what you use to help you out of it. And I ask for that because what you write might actually help someone else. And when it all comes down to it, we're all in this together. And the sooner we get that into our fucking heads, the better. I'll see you out there.